Thank you for tuning in to Cripple Talks Comics. I am the Cripple. This is where we get together and discuss comic books, storylines, characters, and all sorts of other things with my co-host Eladrius and our master of time and space, Zipside. Thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome back to the Cripple Talks Comics.
Try that again.
All right. Welcome back to the Center of the Multiverse. This is Cripple Talks Comics, and this week we are discussing My Captain America. That is correct, folks. We are not doing hashtag not my Captain America. This is now 2017, and Sam Wilson is our Captain America. God bless. That's right. Volume 1 of Sam Wilson Captain America is up, and it is fantastic. What do you guys think? I thought it was great.
First of all, you just had to bring God into this. I see how that is.
You're darn right I did.
You darn right.
Because I'm an American.
You darn right.
I'm an American.
78?
Look, I'm just trying to represent the part of the fandom that is supporting Steve Rogers, Captain America, and we all know that's
Oh, dear God.
And the collective eye
Okay,
roll was
we're going to
enough
do to the Master of the Universe, or Time and Space, or whatever you are today.
You called me it! Last episode, you said you would never call me that. You just called me it. I love you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Since the Cripple decided to turn to me when it was my gay pride comic book series, we will turn to you as the only black man in the room. How do you feel about a black Captain America?
What does it matter that he's a black Captain America? He's just a good
No, they point that out in the comic books.
It matters, apparently.
It matters to the fans, apparently?
It matters to the fans. I have not heard, I don't remember it saying it in the book, at least in the volumes.
They point that shit out a lot.
Not him being black, but something's like, you're not my Captain America.
There's
at least one overt reference to it.
Okay.
No,
Did you read
points
the
at
tweets?
it.
Yeah.
The tweets, and he points at
it. I say with him.
No, tweets in the comic.
Yeah, no, I only read the tweets once I got into issue 3. So I didn't see the rest of them. So that's because I'm reading the app.
And he points to it.
Okay.
In his inner monologue, he points out that there's a clear difference
between.
It's when he's comparing himself to Steve, and he's having that whole inner monologue about Steve. He mentions, we're just not ready for a black Captain America.
Okay.
And I was like, damn.
To answer your question of what I think about this new Captain America, Cap Wolf is back!
Oh my God.
Can we all agree Cap Wolf was dumb?
Cap Wolf is amazing!
They made it fit. Somehow they got a genetic scientist. They made that shit fit.
I mean, it made sense in the story, but I can't believe how many fans Cap Wolf has until I started researching this volume.
Cap Wolf back!
Oh my God!
I love how our Master of Time and Space just got his black fluidation voice
I will
on.
say that his color and whatnot aside, I like the fact that he is a modern person.
Yeah.
Captain America Steve Rogers, or now just Steve Rogers, was 1940s. I mean, he just didn't represent America.
He embodied that era of America very well.
But not 2017.
And to more clarify my comments, I was more poking fun at the people who are just outright dismissing this book. Not even because there are people who won't even read the content. We've had this discussion before about all forms of media. You see the title, you see that he's different, and you go, bam, you're done. You won't even crack a page.
Hashtag not my cap.
Exactly. And the sad thing is, it's not just in the comic. That's a real hashtag that is really out there. And I'm going to applaud Nick Spencer for this. I applauded Jason Aaron, I believe, the guy who did Jane Foster Thor, for the same thing. They took all that negative press and put it into the comic. And to me, that's genius. Okay, they're like, okay, you want to make a comment? I'm going to make a comment about your comment. And that's a nice B side plot to this volume is, this is how people approach Sam Wilson.
And I actually do like this Captain America mostly because when it came to him picking a side about what's going on, the things like Cap would never do anything. It's like, no, we need a leader to come out, a hero to say, hey, this part's wrong, this part's right, because that's what a hero is supposed to do. The part's supposed to show you what's right and what's wrong. And he took that side, and then he got demonized for it. Pretty much Senate asking him to turn in his shield. Like, no, this is my shield. You don't own it.
Well, one of the things...
His shield and his bird costume.
Thank you. Well, no.
Bird costume.
I think, where's that bird costume anyway?
What's up?
The bird costume's gone.
No, it's still part of his
No, they make a joke in the movie. Avengers 2?
No, it's
Captain America
3.
Civil War, yeah. Where they take his wings away and they call it bird costume.
And
he's evidence. And he looks at him and goes, bird costume? Really? And they go, what else would you call it? And he goes, touche.
My jetpack, maybe?
No, apparently he can't make trips from New York to Arizona.
That's a lot of gas. Okay? I don't know how.
Wait, what does Tony fly with?
Repulsor energy.
Can't he get some of those?
As far as I know, him and Tony aren't.
Tony's in a cyber coma, folks.
No. You can't tell me.
During
this, yeah, because that's post Secret War.
Didn't they change? He took his consciousness out of his suit and put it like in a program.
Maybe not.
So he could talk to people. He talked to Von
Yeah,
Doom.
he's the AI in both the building and in Riri suit.
So he could just like.
But here's a question you're not asking though. We have been friends. They have been friends for years. Avengers for years. Like, hey, can you make my suit run over pulsar energy?
Well, okay.
Nah, I'm good. It's mine.
Well,
no, you can't have it.
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but they weren't technically friends for years.
They were on the same team.
He was the assistant to Tony's friend. It's kind of like when you go to the Justice
They were
League,
on the same team.
When you go to the Justice League and go Superman and like, hey, have you met this dude named Dick Grayson? No. Oh, that's the assistant to that guy I hang out with. He's cool.
I swear, you cannot go a single podcast. I've been waiting to say this for episodes now. You cannot go a single podcast without mentioning Batman.
Because he's the best.
You can't.
The best.
Look, this is not Batman on Batman, okay?
It's moderately heavy man on Batman.
It's Cripple on Batman.
Batman on Batman is, by the way, folks, you should check that out. It is Kevin Smith's podcast.
Okay.
And he has a. I want to. His little side note. I want to say I know who his sidekick is, and his name just escapes me. But he does. It's his comic side.
Okay.
Podcast.
But I have to say that the biggest issue that I had with this Captain America is his rose gallery. They're all serpent themed.
Well,
I get it. He's a bird. I get it.
Well,
he's a bird, and they don't like snakes.
That's just a cat villain.
I fucking hate it. I
Those are
fucking
old
hate
cat
it.
villains.
Well, as far as I've seen,
And armadillo.
Okay, I have questions about.
I don't even know who that
Armadillo's been around
is.
since
Likewise.
the 70s, though. Armadillo's been around.
How you gonna know? How you gonna introduce a new Captain America, draw in new people, and you gonna use a villain ain't nobody never heard of, including people who read Captain America?
Cat Wolf.
Well, okay. True enough.
That
True
face
enough.
was perfect.
Look, they don't know what the fuck you talking about. Ain't nobody can see my face.
I don't know. I feel like the way you talk, you communicate your facial
I'm just saying that, you know, Catwolf, I mean, they just kind of shoved it in, and, you know,
I was
They
fine
don't.
with it. They could shove so much more. They could shove so much more in.
just buy the pillow and scream
out of the
yourself
three
down.
members of this podcast, I thought was going to say something like that. It wasn't you.
Actually, I thought it was both of you.
We're good on time.
Okay.
We're gonna make it one day.
One day.
It's an inside joke. We'll talk about it way later in the podcast. But yeah, no. I think the reason why they're showing like Serpent Society Armadillo, who apparently is an old Captain America villain, it's because like even though it's a new Captain America, we still have to have some of the old rogues because he is actually Captain America.
Yeah, but
now.
we see Steve Rogers in the comic.
But yeah, like let's think Jane Foster Thor. Did she have any new villains, or were they old Thor?
Okay, but they use Loki. Like Loki was the big villain there, so
Well,
we all know who
I feel
Loki
like-
is.
I feel-
Well, Hydra wasn't there at the time.
Well,
or
what
AIM, or whoever.
bums me out is I wish Crossbones had been the head of this whole scheme. I have no problem with the Serpent side, but Crossbones is a big Cap villain.
The first guy he fought in the warehouse.
Civil War, the movie, the dude with the messed up face.
Wait,
Okay.
The dude that blew up at the beginning of the Civil War.
Not
movie.
Civil War.
Yeah, he
That was Ultron.
No,
No.
it was Ultron. I'm sorry, it was.
Yeah, it was
You're
Ultron.
right.
Yeah,
The second Avengers movie, the dude that blew himself up.
Okay, remember when Scarlet Witch
Wakanda
made the
people?
thing rise up and blow up?
That guy's a big Cat villain, like
Yeah.
for real. Like
He's
he's like right under the Red Skull.
I was gonna
seriously.
say I know who the Red Skull is
Yeah,
because it's kind of hard not to
everyone.
know.
Let's put it like this: it goes from Red Skull to Hydra.
Captain. What's it? It's not Captain Communism. It's the joke I made. The guy from the Red Guard. The guy from the Winter Guard. What is his name? The communist Captain America. They're literally from all
I
of
have
Russia.
no fucking clue.
What the fuck is his name?
I know he shows up in the in this
Wait,
comic.
wait.
Yes, there's a
For real?
Russian Captain
Yeah,
America.
but he's Captain Russia, right?
Yes, or something like that. Yeah.
Because I was gonna say if he's Captain Communism, then Captain
No.
America's Captain Capitalism.
Well,
Yes.
Yes. Steve Rogers is. Let's be honest. But I don't think he's actually called Captain. But the Winter Guard is literally from the old KGB. They're literally like Major Ursa, which is a guy that turns into a
single
bear.
one of his
and-
villains is all about stealth and subterfuge.
yes,
Why?
and he is not.
And that's why I'm like,
I mean,
why?
that's why they made him in the Captain America films. Oh, he's actually a spy. That's what
Well,
makes us close.
that
to
made a
Star
little
Trek.
more sense than. Oh.
Honestly speaking, that scene was actually pretty good in the second one.
To
where
me,
he
you want to. I can highlight the problem with Steve.
And what now?
in the second one where he infiltrated that boat and took out everybody on the top of the top deck, the way he took them all out, that was actually best.
You want to compliment that scene? I'm also going to compliment them taking a like K-list villain and turning him into an
Do
actual
not
badass.
talk bad about Baltrock the Leaper, okay?
The dude is called the Leaper. I don't have to talk bad about him. His history. It's like Shiltman. The only one
Batrock, so I'm not Baltrock.
Slipknot.
the man that can climb anything,
But I mean,
except the box office.
Or less than 20 minutes into the film.
And the sad thing was, I love that actor too.
You were way far away from the mic when you said
I love the actor. They just blew his head straight
it
off.
off. Going back, yes.
Go.
Having Crossbones in there only for like one thing was kind of wasted, honestly speaking.
Well, because I mean, okay, and I can't remember his name because like I said, I read a lot of reviews and I watch other videos too before we do this so I can be fully informed. There's a specific Cap writer that wrote in the late 70s and through the 80s that Nick Spencer was doing a tribute to during this whole volume. That's where Cap, Wolf, and Serpent Society and Armadillo, all that came from was that same time period. His name escapes me at the moment. So I get you want to do a tribute, but the thing is, if you're gonna do it, if you want to give Sam Capsule Rogue Gallery, that's fine. But don't give them just these guys. Do Crossbones, do Grim Reaper, do Grim Reaper. Oh, dude, Grim Reaper's fuck. Simon Wonderman's brother. You leave Simon alone. We had this argument. He's
by the Vision's family.
He died.
Didn't his
that guy did die by the Vision's family, but
his
Tom King
wife
wrote
like
that.
murdered his ass.
We don't talk about Tom King.
The Reaper got raped.
We don't talk about Tom King because he's bad.
Here's the thing that I think it goes
He makes
for
me cry.
pretty much every superhero. Everyone has that one hero that everyone knows, but unless you're like a hardcore fan of these, you don't know who these other people are. So I love Captain America, but I don't know any of these low tier villains at all.
There are 2 heroes, one for each company, that do not follow that rule. And while I'm not a fan of the hardcore fan of the DC one, it's the Flash. The Flash's villains, while being corny, they stick out. You know who they are.
I know.
Now most of them are speedsters, but they do stick out to the average person.
I'm talking about the Rogues Gallery. Fuck the speedsters.
Or Gorilla Grodd.
I don't care what you say. I love Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah,
I'm
you do.
glad
I'm
that's
so
not-
glad the dark fur gorilla is evil, and the white fur gorilla is the hero. He gonna protect all them gorillas from the evil dark fur gorilla.
With Captain America, he's definitely one of those heroes that I just know Red Skull and I just know Hydra.
Yeah.
And the only reason, and I'll be honest, the only reason I even know who those people are is because the movies.
Exactly.
I will say, even before I started reading Cap, I know more of his Rogues Gallery, but all of those are Hydra people. Like it's Red Skull,
Isn't Baron Zemo part of Hydra?
Baron Zemo and Baron Von Strucker, and then the Grim Reaper. But all of those, literally, and this is one of the shortcomings of Captain America in general, and I hope with Sam Wilson they're going to fix this. All of them are in the hierarchy of Hydra. Literally, everyone I've just listed.
Okay, does Sam Wilson? I hate it. Does Captain America?
We're just going to call him Captain America.
They exist in the same point in time in which Steve Rogers is evil.
Yes.
Yes, but
not the volume we read. But
No,
yes.
Yeah.
but just into. So is it possible that Captain America will eventually have to fight
That's what
the
they're-
head of Hydra,
well,
which is
That's what they're leading up to, because
I hope so.
the next volume after what we read, because I looked up into it, basically what ends up happening is
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert for anyone who has not read ahead or anything. What basically ends up happening, to give a quick summary, is Steve, at the point of the second volume, is now evil. So Steve basically goes to a bunch of rich white businessmen who go and pull up, I can't remember his name, it's like John something. He was the guy who tried to be Captain America, killed a bunch of people, and then everyone said, you need to sit down and stop shooting people. And they go to him and say, hey, there's a bunch of rich businessmen go to him and say, hey, why don't you kill Sam? Because Sam is getting in the way of all our businesses, and he doesn't represent our America, and yada yada yada. And he goes, no, Steve Rogers picked him, so I can't do that. Well, Steve Rogers shows up, evil Cap, and goes, well, actually, if I'd have known Sam would have done this, I would not have given him the shield and all this. Oh, by the way, don't tell anybody I was here. Because if now what I want to point out is the same guy, John, whatever his name escapes me. This same guy is also white. So, but this is literally what Steve says. See, if I go in there and I subdue Sam Wilson in front of all the cameras, it'll look like the white man has come and smacked down the black man and told him to have this place. But if you do it, it won't look that way. And,
Wait,
so anyway,
who's talking to?
Steve is talking to the guy that they're trying to hire to assassinate Sam. John Valley, I think. John something. I can't remember his name. That's how he tried to be Captain America in the 90s.
Okay.
But anyway, he goes to him and says, if I do it, it'll look like the white man is coming to suppress the black man and keep him in his place. But if you do it, by the way, this guy's also like, it won't look as bad. Which is obviously a ploy.
Yes.
Well, anyway, there comes a point where the dude, there's a conflict between Sam Wilson and this guy. Sam Wilson beats him, and then at the same time, someone has planted a bomb somewhere. So Sam Wilson goes...
always a fucking bomb.
Always a bomb. Sam Wilson goes to throw his shield. Him and Cap decide to put their differences aside to go. Him and Steve Rogers decide to put their differences aside and work together. Sam Wilson goes to throw his shield, and he misses, and the bomb goes off, killing some people. You find out in the epilogue of that comic that Steve Rogers literally says, I've been throwing that shield for 40 plus years. I know this isn't this, and you basically find out that he engineered it so that Sam would stand in the exact wrong way to miss the shot. And so he's literally behind the scenes engineering public opinion to make Sam Wilson look unworthy of the title. And so it looks like the big fight at the end of Secret Empire, in my opinion, is going to be Cap versus Cap. Which would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And spoiler in.
Okay, yeah.
That's actually pretty interesting. I like I said,
I'm hoping that's where it's headed anyway.
here's you say about that, but I also want to wait to say this for later. But this kind of goes into it too. This is one thing I don't like about comics now, or I'm not sure if it was in the past or not. But the covers they give you a false sense of what's going to happen next. Because in the second issue on this one, it was literally Cap and Steve Rogers on opposite sides with a tear in between, showing like their friendship is broken. But nowhere in the comic does it show that their friendship is actually broken. They're just on different sides of the exact same coin. And even they have respect for each other. But it seemed like they were going to fight because of how the first issue ended. It's like, okay, what's going on with this? And then later on when we see the character who gets introduced, like he shows up in his costume on the cover a whole issue before he even gets the costume itself. Yeah. So it's like, why don't you save that for like that issue or after that issue to show that this is what the character's going to look like now. But they spoiled it.
To coin a YouTube phrase, it's clickbait. It's the comic book version of clickbait. Oh my gosh, what is this?
Screw that. This is the podcast. We don't really care about spoilers here, do we?
No, we tell
Not
people
really.
they're going to be spoilers.
No. They introduced the new Falcon, and they introduced the Falcon in his full costume.
I love the new Falcon.
I do too. But they introduced him in his costume like a whole issue before he even got to the point of being an actual hero. So it's like, okay, no. Let's say that for the actual issue when he actually shows up and does something. I don't like that. Because it seemed like that in that issue that they were going to be fighting, it's just no fight at all. It was clickbait, as you said.
Well, it's the same thing with, and I'm surprised you as an artist has never brought this up, but it's starting to bother me the more comics I read. I don't, I'm not a big art guy. As long as your stuff isn't specific stuff, it doesn't throw me off. My biggest issue with art is when you have a different artist draw the cover. Because as someone who's not a big into art, I expect whatever I see on the cover to match the interior. And when you get two artists whose art styles don't match, now I'm like, well, what is this?
Can you give me an example?
I believe the Captain America ones is not what made me think of this. It was him bringing it up.
Because I was like, I remember Jane Foster Thor, and she looks the exact same way as in the comics.
I want to say it's the same artist doing that. DC does it a lot for sure. I know Alex Ross has done a few covers, and then his art is not in the book.
Okay.
The ones we've read recently, I can't think of any. I'll come up with some examples for next week.
Okay.
But it's something that does happen.
Another way of thinking is like, have you ever seen variant covers of comics where they had a guest artist comes in and do something like that? That's kind of that's kind of what I mean.
You have a variant cover of the Wreck, which you have is not the standard cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But it looks better than the original.
I know.
Exactly.
So wouldn't you kind of gotten to with that one?
Wouldn't you have loved for that entire comic to be on that type of art if it was
because
that
wasn't the same artist?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
no. You're talking to somebody. I read the Young Avengers, and then they got it with the all new.
They're called the New Avengers.
The New Avengers, and somehow Wiccan, going from a small Jewish nerd, got boom, and Hulkling got even bigger, and then the chick on the team has no internal organs because of her.
Researching. Because when we put this stuff on YouTube, I put those covers up there, so I had to look up all. They were just like, oh, that's Wiccan. He looks kind of cool. He has that visor on his head or something like that, right? Or is that somebody else?
No, it's the standard superhero headpiece. I don't know what
I see that, but then I started looking further down. It's like, who's this person casted? Is that the same guy?
And he's a tone, and
he's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be thin, Jewish high schooler, really.
He's supposed to be a magic caster. Magic casters are inherently
Well, and also he
small.
looks. The thing I loved about Young Avengers, I mean, this is off topic, but they looked normal. They looked like normal people. They didn't. All of them weren't super Steve Rogers buff, or even Tony for some really rich.
I don't know.
dude,
Lately,
is, like, super
lately
buff.
they've been drunk.
Well, when you ain't got nothing else but to do except for be a hero, you might as well work out.
And now he
Tony
gets drunk,
work out. Have you ever seen Tony work out?
and he drinks a lot of
Okay.
alcohol.
I think Tony works out in the most lazy fashion. Gets in some type of suit and it works out for him. He just starts drinking while it happens. Just sit-ups, okay.
I don't even. I think he just gets in the suit and says, "Jarvis, work my muscles."
I have a,
So dirty.
I have a YouTube channel and a video you have to watch for the next couple of days.
Okay.
A YouTube channel I've been following called Comic Pop. They do this thing called back issues, where basically they do like our nerdy version of explaining the whole issue to people who haven't read it. They covered. It's the only Iron Man one they ever covered. They covered the one about the suit. The suit that tries to like.
Oh my God, the rape suit.
It's
No.
It's called the
No.
It's called the what is it? The Mask and the Iron Man is
The-
what the volume's called. Yeah.
Okay. We can call me sure whatever you want to call your personal toys.
And it's written
is up to
specifically
you.
by Joe Quesada.
Okay. But let's get back to Cap.
Yes.
So,
Also, no.
No.
He can talk to birds. No.
They can talk to
No.
birds.
Okay,
He
no.
has a telekinetic psychic link with birds.
that
No.
part didn't bother me.
No, that bothered me.
What bothered me is that this bird is vampiric. It's a vampiric, telekinetically connected
There's a
bird.
storyline pre-Civil War that covers
No,
that.
we know.
That
We
doesn't,
know.
that doesn't make no excuse. There's no fucking
Okay,
excuse.
wait.
Why is the bird vampiric?
He got
So the bird
vampire-
is also vampire. What, by the way,
He got
you know
vampire
birds don't
blood.
have teeth, right?
Yeah, they got beaks.
Well,
Yeah.
to
Sharp beaks. Sharp.
to bite into people, you gotta have vampire fangs.
They
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
well, you just need blood. Let's just say you just need blood. And
What's he gonna do?
Look,
no, it has its claw.
all-
It has the
all
talons.
I
That's
gotta
how they
tell you-
actually eat. It's like they grab it first and they dig
Yeah,
into the
but
things.
what is he gonna do? Absorb the blood through his talons? Or is he just
This-
gonna start drinking
This
it
is the
with
exact
his
same
beak?
one where we had oh god, what was that vampire in Spider-Man?
Oh, Michael Morbius, the living
Especially
vampire.
since you know that birds cannot actually. This is gonna sound so bad. They can't actually make the motion of sucking because they have no lips. They're just a beak. Shut up, both of you. I thought somebody came from behind me for a second.
Literally, all they do is just take a big chunk of meat that's still bloody and dripping and just swallow it. I'm not quite sure how birds eat. Shut up. Stop looking at me like that. I would just guess that they just eat the meat. That's all I can think of.
They just so much blood. But how would that make him vampiric? Because he would just be eating like normal.
He like pecked into a vampire defending Sam and then ingested the vampire.
That is so not how you get
Look,
vampirism.
I'm just telling you what Nick Spencer presented.
Okay,
to
and
me.
I'm just telling you what Skyrim taught me, and that you have to be the subject of the drain spells at least 3 times, and then maybe.
Look, all I gotta say is that whole art. That
We're gonna bring Skyrim logic
Thank
into
you,
a comic.
Bethesda. Thank
Into
you,
a
Bethesda.
comic about a dude who turned into a wolf who was telepathically
His
connected
bird also
to
merged.
birds.
His bird also merged
Merged
with that
with
poor
what's his name?
dude.
With that kid. Yeah, well, that's because of that
Also,
scientist.
I'm gonna admit to both
The same
our
one that
audience.
turned him into Catwolf.
I'm gonna admit to both our audience and the group. When I was younger, I thought Falcon was.
I did too. I will fully admit.
I will admit that when I was younger, I didn't even know who he was.
Well, I saw him hanging around
Yeah,
Captain, and I was like, "Who's this bird guy?"
I've never actually saw him in comics. I saw pictures of him. It's like, who's this guy? Say, oh, it's Falcon. It's like, okay, is that actually his wings or something like that? And no one could answer the question for me until I got older and got into hero.
Could he
questions.
fly?
Yes.
Yes.
Seriously.
No, not by himself.
No.
Jetpack still.
He had
Oh, he had jetpack.
He had
Okay.
jetpacks, but they were so understated back in like the 70s and 80s.
It's like the Spider-Man thing. I remember watching Spider-Man, and then they came out with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. They're like, no, he doesn't have that stuff. He just actually shoots a web. I'm like, oh, okay. And people were like, that's not how he did it. And I was like, really? I just assumed that's how he did it. And everyone was like, no, he actually like made these machines. And I was like, oh, that's less interesting.
No, it's more. The reason why it's more interesting, at least to us, anyway, is because he has a limited amount. And so
It's a
it's always
plot
a thing.
device.
It's always a thing to where he runs out. It's like, oh shit, I can't swing anymore. I can't really defend myself long range anymore. So that's why it was always a plot device.
Yeah,
Other
he's
than
only
that,
got like what 3 refills, I think.
he can only carry three
Yeah.
refills. Yeah, but then of course he would get rid of all those spider trackers and the spider homing device and spider this and
He
spider that.
became Batman.
Yeah,
A little bit.
a little bit.
A little bit.
He didn't
Except
have a
Batman does not run out of batarangs.
Actually, Doc Ock as Spider-Man became Batman.
Wait, I'm gonna do this. I hate doing this. Does Batman ever actually run out of batarangs?
If he's written well, yes.
Okay, when's the last time you read him running out of them batarangs?
Pre-Scott Snyder.
And where does he keep them?
There is a compartment.
In his fanny pack.
Okay, all subject. It's the utility belt.
It's a fanny pack.
I'm gonna need you to
It's
show
a multiple pocket fanny
I'm gonna
pack.
need you to show the utility belt some respect. First of all, there's a diagram. I can show it to you.
Oh my god!
Wow. Okay. I didn't know there's a diagram. Does it have hammer space inside of it? Is there literally a black hole?
No, it literally lines out what each of the little compartments and what it stores.
Okay, but the compartments I've seen are like little tubes. So I've never said.
No, he's got some pouches. I don't know how he would store batarangs in any of them, but apparently he can.
Well, he only has the limited number of batarangs because they're supposed to return.
Okay,
They're boomerangs. I have seen
They're
that.
boomerangs.
I have seen
the
that.
actual things are bladed boomerangs. That's what they're supposed to
I'm done
be.
with your Captain Boomerang knockoff.
Actually, Batman came first.
Yeah,
but
Captain Boomerang's better.
That was one. Okay, we
he only need one. Batman needs.
Actually, no. He has like a whole jacket. If you open up the jacket for real,
yeah, he
has like.
It's like
his jacket is
oh, hey, Flash.
Oh
no! And
if you came at me like that, I don't want to say.
And literally just like,
and I'm gonna give, even as a Batman fan, I'm gonna give Captain Boomerang credit. It's something to his credit that a lot of versions of him don't show. Is he has a ton of different types of boomerangs.
Are they made out of like vibranium?
Well, not vibranium because that's Marvel, but there are different ones made out of different metals for different reasons. Yes. Mm-hmm. Like he has explosive ones. He's got like, and to his credit, I really wish the Suicide Squad movie would have covered this a little better because he has tons of different boomerangs. But it's one of those things.
But then he came back in Brightest Day, and now he had energy boomerangs.
I can't tell if I liked or disliked that, to be honest. I was in the middle ground of that. At the same time, it's like kind of cool, but at the same time, it's sort of like when they gave all the rogues superpowers that had to kill you. In New 52, and they gave all the rogues.
I have not read any New 52.
They actually gave the rogues superpowers based on their weapons.
Oh, can you also answer me a question? Where does Misty Knight get her money? I thought
she's
she was
an info broker.
I thought she was. How did she go from cop to that?
That's the Netflix series. She also doesn't have an arm either.
She legitimately wasn't a cop to start with.
She might have been. She was, but that was years ago.
Yeah, she was a cop, and then she pretty much left because
she left because she lost an arm.
I'm not quite. That probably is
no,
a reason why.
She has both arms in like
the. No, that's one of them is a metal arm.
Oh shit!
One of them is a prosthetic arm.
Yeah,
that's why Zip Tie kept telling me he kept flinching every couple scenes because was it you that told me? Somebody I talked to said that they kept expecting her to lose that arm.
Oh yeah, in the Netflix show. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna make her lose it because literally she said if we keep this on too long, you're gonna lose your arm. It's like, oh, okay, cool, we're gonna actually lose her. No, she still has it.
That I think it's her right arm. One of her arms
right arm metal. The same way.
Yes.
I think Bucky has his left arm gone.
It might
but one of his arms.
One of his arms, yes. But one of his arms was actually intentionally removed, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
I thought because he was experimented on. I thought his arm was intentionally removed. I'm not sure.
I just assumed they had to remove it due to frostbite or whatever because he was left in the snow.
Well, I'm a Winter Soldier fan. I'm not a Bucky fan. I like him better when he was the Winter Soldier.
I like him better when he's making out with Captain America.
That is one of the internet OTPs hardcore.
No one's talking about your fanfic.
It's not a fanfic.
They are only partners in crime.
No.
Nothing else, good sir.
Did you see Civil War?
I saw Civil War. Did they ever kiss?
If you looked at
did they ever hug?
Oh my God, you're one of those.
I'm not.
Okay, I was going to say.
I'm being devil's
All I gotta say is if I looked at you like that, your wife would punch me in the face. If I looked at you the same way he looked at Cap looking back in a helicopter.
We all know that eventually.
I'm just like, you have to kiss otherwise you're not together. That's not a thing.
We all know eventually there will be a threesome between Captain America, Sam Wilson, and the Winter Soldier. And they will all fight on to see who gets Cap.
They did an interview with the guy who played Sam Wilson. I don't know the actor's name. From the...
I forgot his name too.
No. They were like, you're the first... I think he was talking about that he's like get to be the first cinematic black superhero or whatever in the Marvel universe or whatever.
No, that's Blade. Go ahead.
Well, no, he was talking about...
That's not considered the MCU, though.
Oh, MCU. Okay.
Yeah, and so he was getting to be the first one, and that was confirmed and acknowledged by the other teammates. And then Steve Colbert was like, he's the first gay one, too. And he goes, really? And he was like, no. And he was like, oh, okay.
he was like,
oh, cool, I'm gay. All right. Like, oh, that'd have been fun.
he was like, all right, I got this modification for a script, and he was ready.
Apparently.
Well, one of the things I'm kind of excited about, and I hope Marvel does not get cold feet, is Chris Evans' contract is up. Coming after this next Avengers movie.
After Infinity War, I do believe.
Yeah, the next one. I think that's the next Avengers movie. Whatever the next Avengers movie is, he's up. I'm hoping Falcon Cap. Bam, we're done.
No, they're gonna go Winter Soldier Cap. you know they're gonna win. They're going to go
no
Winter
offense
Soldier
meant
Cap.
to the actor that plays Bucky. I don't like Winter Soldier as Cap. I prefer him as the Man on the Wall.
Okay,
we don't want to cover
the fact that
original
you
sin.
said that just made me imagine just Cap throwing him against the wall and just like,
Now who's fanfic are we talking
be
about?
my captain.
And now we just got 500 more subscribers from Tumblr.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
500 followers and 6,000 haters because
Right.
we are sexist.
Again,
Yeah.
I will take it.
Okay, you know what? We've all agreed that our three opinions are the only
Shut
opinions.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we didn't even we passed it up.
I
we
tried.
didn't say
I
anything.
tried.
I said shut up. You looked at me.
You're the one that laughed. I said, why are you laughing?
Why do, I
It's
get
like,
the,
oh.
why do I get the feeling his husband's sitting at home playing video games and went,
My husband is more likely to say, "I bet you do."
Okay, let's get back to
Back
Cat Wolf
to-
again.
but,
Not
his
Cat
name
Wolf,
is not
Captain
Cat Wolf.
he's
America.
my Cat Wolf.
This is your Cat Wolf.
hashtag my
But
Cat Wolf.
like I said, the main thing I do like about it is that when he did take a side in too, it deals with the fact of like you're a hero, but hero don't pay the bills. So I did love that he actually had to go to his brother for a handout. Like,
Well, the fact that he had to go to his brother for a handout.
We good?
there's some feedback all of a sudden. It's from your mic.
Hello?
Hello. It's weird.
Oh, here's me.
Go ahead and do a pause 1 second.
That is the technical solution to everything.
It's not the.
No, it was just a hum.
Do you want a better
Oh,
chair? Is that
No,
the
no,
one?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if that was fucking with the noise.
No, it was a hum that wouldn't go away. So
Make sure you mark our tech talk here.
31:15. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. You were talking about the real world implications. One of the things I really enjoyed, I'm going to paraphrase a few of the reviews I've read because I really liked it. I like how Nick Spencer wants us to think. Because the entire issue, at the end of the day, is not a standard comic. Because of what happens at the end, we've already discussed that we don't really care about spoilers. We've warned people. At the end of the thing where he has to decide that he can't arrest all these people because they're high up in the financial institution and they could bankrupt people's retirements. Sam Wilson has to face something. Steve would not have considered that. If Steve had been confronted with that, Steve had been
Well,
like,
the thing is
golly gee, you're going to prison.
it's one of the things I actually adore about Sam Wilson is the fact that he is our generation's Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
The America that Steve Rogers comes from is no longer here.
Right.
We don't have the same issues,
Right.
and that's why I love the fact that he. Okay, all jokes aside, I love the fact that he went to the internet and he
Right.
was like, "Hey, here's Hotline," and
Go to the hotline.
even though I dislike his bird psychic connection, it makes the hotline viable because he
Yes.
can just sit there and like stare at people through the birds and be like, "The birds told me."
You made a really nifty or a really kind of dumb superpower sound both cool and creepy all at the same time.
I mean, okay, with the bird power too, like it makes it even in the next issue when he texts like I'm telepathically connected to the birds, he made the hotline useless because he literally found the guy who ran away like less than 10 minutes later. Like while he was talking to Cap, he said, "Oh, well, you go ahead and look for him. I'm actually gonna get him because I know where he is." It's like he automatically knew. He even knew where somebody was doing it all the way in New York, in Central Park. It was like. The only thing I can guess of why he doesn't use that power all the time is probably maybe it's hearing all those voices at once. It's like a telepath. You can't turn the shit on all the time.
I assume that would be a good cover. It's one of those things that they're with every hero, every single one of them, any company. There are times where their powers wax and wane because there are moments where Martian Manhunter, to give a DC example, is the most powerful psychic ever. And there are moments.
If they're too strong and they have something that's too convenient, then the story can't continue. I mean, you could solve it in 5 minutes. So they have to kind of limit his bird power occasionally.
Well, there's
Same reason he can't fly from New York to Arizona.
Yeah.
Gas! Damn it! It's
so he gotta
gas!
sit in
It's a good
coach.
down to earth moment, but it's also like, well,
Oh my God, those idiots he was sitting next to.
Oh my! Bottle caps. Oh, you're Captain America.
Aren't you Captain America? I don't. What's
I'll
wrong
tell-
with you?
I'll
They
tell
were
you-
dude bros. Oh my God, you're Captain America.
I'll tell you what. Since we all went to college together, and had this comic come out like while we were in college, I'd have been real offended because those guys were the standard college.
Yeah, no.
goofballs.
I would not have been offended because I knew idiots like that.
We did
in
know
college.
idiots like that.
We were friends with idiots like that.
We were. Those were bad decisions.
It was college. It was
Yeah,
a time to
everyone
make
makes
bad
bad
decisions.
decisions. Oh, how about the wait? The what are they called? Stewardess is not the right term.
It's
No, that's
technically-
not the right term. It's flight attendant.
It's technically not a weapon.
Oh yeah, I did love that.
Okay.
I was like, dude, how are you getting on coach with
No.
the shield?
You
That's That's not luggage you can just bring on.
You want to
That's
talk about?
technically not a weapon.
You want to talk about down to earth? How about that portrayal of the TSA? You want to talk about them because they're talking about them because at one point he gets on the plane, what they're talking about it, and they scan the shield and he goes, "Technically, folks, it's not a weapon." He's trying to convince security to let him keep the shield. How that was a realistic portrayal of being at the airport lines as someone who's recently been on a plane.
and people say it's like, dude, you can fly. Why are you here? It's like it's a lot to fly.
A lot of gas to
New
fly
York
for-
to Arizona. So
that's really inconvenient.
I mean, I'm not Tony. I don't have infinite energy to go everywhere.
Can we also talk about Misty Knight not upgrading his tickets but upgrading her tickets?
Mr. Knight don't need him.
And then I like how she puts out there the fact that he goes, solves it all, does all that shit, and she's just like, "You asked me to come, but you didn't need me." And she goes, that pissed me off a little bit. And I'm just like, it kind of pissed me off too. Sam Wilson apparently is the superhero equivalent of the girl that doesn't want to go to the bathroom by herself.
I kind of can't.
Okay.
Oh my God,
She
Laura, you have to go with me. I'm afraid that I'm gonna get jumped.
She
in the
was
bathroom,
more upset.
Laura.
It's like, hey, I came out here to help you. Oh well, we can't stay here. We actually have to go.
No,
from
he
Arizona
asked
to
her
New
to
York.
follow. He asked her
Yeah.
to come with him.
Yeah, but he didn't know that we had to go all back to New York. It's like, so you mean I came out here for nothing and we got to go back to New York? I could have just stayed there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you gonna stay in coach. I'm gonna stay in first class. Excuse me.
And like I said, he's the
And
equivalent.
she is definitely an independent black woman. Don't need no man.
I'm gonna go into my fanboy real quick. Don't get me wrong, Sam and Missy, it's cute. It's cute.
Oh no.
I am still
You let it
firm
go.
believer of the ship of Misty and Iron Fist. I
You
need
let it
that
go, man.
back in my life. I don't care if she got mysteriously impregnated with his chi.
That sounds awful.
What's funnier, the fact that he said it or the fact that he said it with a straight face?
I still don't understand. I kind of agree with you though. Continuing this tangent with Iron Fist. How can you claim to have a vow of celibacy and then you just discard it?
That's a.
Did he
vow
have
was
that-
his vow was to stay in Kung Lung, and he
No,
still
no, no.
left. Okay, I know there's some like you actually supposed to go back to the real world and be a hero, but you're supposed to come back to Kung Lung and defend
And occasionally he does.
occasionally. But he does not hold that he does not hold that to all. And also, your vow is to fucking die too. We'll get that later on in the Iron Fist episode we do like episode.
But
I
don't know.
But yeah, but no, there's no celibacy happening there. I seriously doubt any Iron Fist who left Kung Lung kept the celibacy vow.
Also, how come you can afford to blow up half of Harlem visually? One of your series can afford to do that, but you can't give me 5 minutes of Kunlun.
We will get to that in the Iron Fist episode.
They gave you 5 minutes. You got to stare at it from afar.
And not even from far. You got to see where it used to be.
No, you get to see the city at first, and then you get to see.
You know
where it
what?
used
I
to
can
be.
see that of New York.
We
for
also
like
get
5
to know about
cents.
this giant tree that apparently covers the entire.
Maybe it
city.
has something to do with the incident.
We're gonna we're gonna get all to that later.
We'll keep going.
Because
Okay.
I have a whole rant saved up.
Trust me, believe it or not, as a hardcore Iron Fist fan, I have a rant about the
Well, we
comic,
have
about the show, about everything.
To let our viewers know, we have we already did a special edition for our friend Eladrius. We have a special edition planned for Zip Tie, our master of time and space, regarding Iron Fist and a comparison to the show. And it's not on the calendar, but we also have a special event planned for myself as well. So
Yeah, it'll happen, but we're not. I'm still a firm believer that Missy should be with Iron Fist, but
I'm
can't
a firm
have it.
believer that Misty should be with whoever she wants to be with. I'm not about to argue with her.
No, she needs to be with Iron Fist.
I tell you what, you tell Misty that, I'm gonna be over.
I will, and she will smack me with that vibranium arm.
Is it vibranium?
Yes.
Holy crap! Don't
Is it
How
made
did
up,
she get that?
Tony?
Okay, wait. Okay, now you get to justify to me why he give her a vibranium arm, but he can't make hit
Arc
fucking-
reactor powered jetpack.
Yeah, why he can't do that?
I think he felt indebted to Misty because I think it's actually his fault that she lost her arm.
I feel like he's just a human piece of garbage that just picks and chooses.
Why do you think he's in a can?
Why do you think Tony is Tony? Tony is Tony because Tony is trash.
I hope he don't come
Ever
back.
since Demon in the Bottle, we all know that it's public knowledge that Tony's just a horrible person.
Yes.
I'm
Hopefully-
sorry, Iron Man fans, but Tony's a horrible person.
And hopefully Riri will be here permanently.
That's why they had to get
can
such a
hope.
great actor to play him in the MCU, because that's the only way you could make a character that is that trashy seem at least passable, because Tony's a horrible person.
The hum is back, but I'm ignoring it now. Anyway, because I can fix it in post.
Yeah.
But going back to that, like, and then Misty, from what I can tell, even going back and reading more about Misty too, she seems to be non-committal to everyone.
I thought that was a character thing. Is that not? I don't know that much about Misty, so that would be a you thing.
Like going back to reading the rest of Iron Fist, the Immortal Weapon, she was the exact same way with Danny.
Okay.
Danny had to put a ring on it to make her say, "Hey, stay with me." It's like, and she was like, "Why don't we just fuck?" Literally.
Maybe she doesn't like commitment.
And we all know Jessica don't like commitment.
No, Jessica doesn't like commitment for different reasons. Jessica don't like commitment because people around her only get hurt. So she don't like to be around people.
And that's why she married a dude that can't get hurt. Well, barely anyway.
Apparently Danny can still beat the shit out of him.
Magic defeats technology.
Senor Magico. You hear me, Netflix? I'm gonna need some Senor Magico.
We're gonna get to that. Let's get back to Cap. But I do, like I said, the main thing this whole thing showed to me anyway was that, you know, this Cap, just like you said before, this is the Cap of our generation because he does everything that we as a people would do if we were in that situation. Like, we don't have money to go to just fly everywhere. We have to get on fucking coach and go through this. Right. We have to go through that, and we have to beg people for money to get stuff done because this isn't a paid job.
Well, the way Captain America got away with it is he was always associated with the military.
Yeah, and SHIELD.
Exactly. And in his generation, the military was very much about that. That's why highways were set up. They were supposed to be for military movement, and it made life easier for the rest of us. That's how that works. This is not the same thing anymore. That's why I like the modern portrayal of SHIELD. It's not the 40s. The military is not universally considered to be the best judge. So now Sam Wilson is this guy with the same point of view that we have going, it's not evil per se, but they're not making the best decisions, and I'm not going to walk around and say they're making the best decisions. And it's something that I really like about Sam. I also like that as political as people want to say this comic is, Sam doesn't pick a side. He sides on issues, but he never supports one party or the other.
Like he says that as far as it goes, he said that Steve Rogers doesn't ever pick sides, but he is not Steve Rogers, and he does have morals, and he does have values, and how can you not stand for something? And so he tells people, look, this, what you're doing right now is wrong, and this is right. And that's how I see it as Captain America.
And I actually do love talking to you about this episode because you're very good at thinking about the moral issue of certain things. Like, we always had a conversation about, you know, if robots got sentience, so that we don't. I'm still trying to figure out my opinion on that one. What is your opinion on them actually having the cosmic cube and altering reality when they want to? I need to know where you.
Are you talking about the Pleasantville thing?
No. In this volume,
SHIELD had the cosmic cube.
You're right.
The cosmic cube fragments.
Because I think that
they were piecing it together.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That leads into Avengers Standoff, which is all right. Again, for spoilers, and if you want, we can read it sooner rather than later and move something around on schedule. But we already had this conversation. This leads into Avengers Standoff, which is how he becomes a Hydra agent, Steve, because the SHIELD gets the fragments together. And then decides to basically change people who are villains and put them in a small 50s style town and make them not villains and just keep them there. And that's this big thing. That's what their Cap's talking about. Is we're not sure if they're gathering cosmic pieces. That's why they're gathering pieces.
Yeah. Now, as far as the moral implications, the way I see it, I agree with Sam Wilson. I don't think anyone should have that power. I don't care who you are. I mean, if you're the government, well, obviously you can't be trusted to be non-biased as the government. I mean, as the ruling entity, you're always going to want to rule. So either for good or ill, even with the best intentions, you might do evil and be okay with that. With even superheroes, as we can see, we can't trust during Civil War, the original one, the first Civil War. We can't trust the
only good one. Go ahead.
We can't trust heroes to even know what good is. They each have different ideas of what good is. So as far as I'm concerned, the cube shouldn't exist. We should remove it, and that's what Sam Wilson was all for. Because you can't trust anyone with that kind of power.
No.
It's that quote from Lord of the Rings that Gandalf tells Frodo when Frodo offers Gandalf the ring. He says, "I would use this with the desire to do good, but through me, terrible acts would be worked."
Well, it's that old adage: power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
So why give it to Frodo? Is he uncorruptible? Apparently not.
Well, no. The hobbits are more resistant because they were innocent folk.
Yeah, they were pure of heart.
That's the same reason Bilbo could hold it.
But it did kill him.
Years. Yes, it did kill him. That is.
And it killed Bilbo. They both died because of the ring. So it was nobody told him that it was going to kill him. But
in both real life and in the Marvel universe, there's not that character. There's not one character you could trust with that level of power, which is the point Sam makes. Is there's no one we should hand a cube to ever.
Yeah. I mean, even if you would want to get rid of the villains, sure, but in doing that, you would look at anything else that would be unpleasing, and you would also want to change that, and that would have far-reaching implications.
Well, it's one of those things. I'm going to bring up something. I haven't read this issue, but I heard that it happened. There's a comic called The Ultimates, and they handle a lot of cosmic level stuff. And one of the things they apparently did was they changed Galactus from the big world eater into a world creator. And so now, instead of having a force going out there culling overpopulation in the universe, he's creating worlds and restoring the ones he's eaten and creating more cosmic seeds. Which, if you know anything about Galactus, his entire function is to keep the universal population manageable and keep the celestial population down, because any planet that supports life in the Marvel universe has the seed of a celestial in it. And that's actually what he's feeding on.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. When you talk about the big villain that happened in this one, which...
You mean corporate America?
Yes.
In
snake suits.
Okay, I know you don't like... At least they didn't... At least they go, we are the Serpent Society.
Okay, both of you, no lisp.
At least he wasn't that.
No lisp. That's offensive. It triggers me.
Who? For what?
It triggers me.
Eladrius is apparently related to serpent people. It's offensive to his culture.
You're just... I hate that. It's so annoying.
We are the Serpent Society.
I hated it in like Harry Potter with the snake
that.
people.
They did do that in Harry
I can only think that, drag gun. I don't do that tongue thing. That's all I can think of.
Okay. So
But yes, they kill the fat guy who wants to say no, we shouldn't kill people.
essentially, let's give
There's always one. Really, one person. So all of you are okay with this.
Let's go give them what's going on. Pretty much that the Serpent Society, or the new rebranded
What are the Serpent Solutions? I was trying to think of their
It's
name.
now working for big companies
It's
to
hard
help
not
them
to,
make
that
money
is
by
the-
doing all the dirty work.
Yeah.
But the problem is, the one thing I don't understand is that their company is literally, we'll do your dirty work for you. How did that legally get through any type of business thing to where people say, hey...
Oh, it's not legal. You think that's legal?
Did they not have stocks? I thought when they talking about the Serpent Society had stocks.
Yes, but that's not what they publicly do.
But everyone knew. Not just the companies, even the public thing, even though, like, these are bad people.
I can give you a good example. How many people buy the latest iPhones? It's an absurd number, right?
Yes.
How many of those are actually made by people with making a decent wage?
Point taken.
I believe that's the point Nick Spencer's trying to make, because
Sweatshops,
because the villain literally says it, and I agree with him. People know, and this is true, and you can scream social justice war you won't, but Nick Spencer's making a valid point. We all know, all of us, if you're an informed American in the first world country, we are all aware that these things, a lot of these things come from countries with, where people are paid $0.25 a day to in unreasonable conditions to do this stuff. But when the new thing comes out, and I'm not about to sit here in judgment. I'm one of those people. We all can say that we get that thing. You don't think about that when you go buy your new laptop or you see the new you see the new shoes. You don't think about that. Oh, shit, that's a good deal. I'm gonna buy that. That's on sale. And that's a good question. Do you guys agree with that? Does that make people culpable because we are aware on some level that happens? Does that make, because that's the question Nick Spencer is, I feel like that's the question he's trying to ask, is does that make the consumer culpable?
I would say that as far as it goes with us, it's hard to account the everyday average person,
right,
even if they are informed, as culpable, because there's not many options on the market. You either have this shoe made by this Chinese kid or this shoe made by this Mexican kid. You don't have a choice. However, the business board that they're talking to in that scene is extremely culpable because they're dealing head to head. They know exactly who this person is, what they do, and this person is telling them up front, when you pay us, you're paying us to do this.
We're paying us to murder, kidnapping, anything we need to do to make sure you get more money.
So it's like if the consumer may not be culpable, or may not be as culpable as someone that's, let's say, Walmart.
Right.
Somebody that literally goes to that country.
Like an executive who sees the working conditions.
Or the board of trustees at Walmart that literally go to those countries and go, look, we'll pay you to open up a sweatshop here. Right. Those people are culpable, whereas the consumers have very little choice as what they can buy.
Right. And let's be clear, and you guys can weigh in. I'm not saying that all corporations are evil, but these are practices we all are aware are happening, And people aren't willing to say that. Not all corporations that are making money and employing people are able, but there are some that are quite obviously making choices for the bottom line that are bad for people. And this is not acceptable. And I feel like I like that that's the vision. And they were able to dress it up in comic book logic, make it a little more extreme with kidnapping and all this. But it was a great way to put in the point. It's the same thing. I believe the same villain makes a speech about the mortgage crisis and asks you, is it the fault of the banks for drawing up these mortgages that were outlandish, or is it fault of the individuals who didn't read the mortgages when they signed it? And as someone with the background that I have, it's hard to make that choice. Because I, in my courses and with the education that I have, was always taught to read every single thing before your signature hits the thing.
And for those who don't know, the Cripple is actually
pre-law. I have 2 degrees.
Yeah.
The only further question I would counter that with is, how many people in America are educated to that level as opposed to how many
True.
aren't?
And that's why I don't.
It's like, is it constitutional that they be allowed to draw up those mortgages at all? See,
and that's why I told you it's hard for me to make that choice one way or the other.
Because
it's what you call the burden of knowledge.
When's the last time you read a terms of service use on a video game that you installed? Did you just click agree and go?
I don't think. Does anyone here actually read the terms and condition of any software they install?
I don't.
I don't either.
I do.
No.
We know why you have.
Did you read WoWs when you installed it? World of Warcraft.
You mean all those years ago? No. The first time, no. But I also didn't go to college then.
So see.
Well, it's what you call the burden of knowledge. It's the same thing. You have slight medical training, and you have what you call the burden of knowledge when it comes to like all this organic stuff, because you've ranted about that before. Everything's labeled organic. It's the burden of knowledge, and that's why I can't make a choice as far as that goes, because not everyone is that educated to that point.
Which I believe is what we have to really evaluate here: is what is the average level of understanding? Because obviously, okay, if you go talk to a doctor, the doctor is going to know more about your body than you are. And when he asks you what's wrong, you might say, oh, well, my elbow hurts. And he'll be like, I don't understand. That's not at all helpful. And you'll be like, well, I don't understand the body like you do. So the doctor has to then come down to your level and speak in layman's terms. Because, again, we have to assume that the person you're talking to has a basic working knowledge and not specific clerical knowledge. But that's how, back on to Captain America and whatnot.
And the Serpent Solutions.
SS, which has gone from SS to SS. Well, that's cool.
Every time I was reading the leader, by the way, I kept picturing Khan from the old Jungle Book, like the old Jungle Book Disney movie. Thank you. I don't know why I heard that. That's what I kept hearing as he was talking.
Be like you. No.
Christopher Walken's version of that was the best thing ever.
I have not seen that.
It's on Netflix.
He talks. It's just a talk.
No, it's Christopher Walken's spoken word version of it. I want to be like you.
Okay, going back.
But that's still related.
The main thing I did like, the one thing I found funny is that like this guy was the head of Serpent Solutions. He is the marketing / business guy. And I like how they kept saying like, yeah, he went to hell and lost his soul, and now he becomes a better businessman. It's like, so you automatically have to lose your soul to become a good businessman. It's like that's another way of a commentary of how things are. Because like when you sell things, you're selling it to get the sale. You don't care about what everyone else thinks.
We've actually discussed this, me and the Cripple. Basically, the reason that one of the big reasons that people who are rich is because from the bottom all the way to the top, they don't care what they have to do to other people as long as they continue to go, and that's what we've noticed.
Exactly. And to counter any commenters that would like to put comments down there are rare exceptions like Bill Gates, but the point is, most people lose their roots.
It also depends on how you look at Bill Gates, because me and you would consider him one of the more philanthropist billionaires. Same with Warren Buffett. But at some point, somebody in their past could point at an action that they have done where they have sold someone down the river. When Bill Gates bought the framework, he bought the framework for what would become Microsoft. He bought it for $50. On somebody else's work. Is that fair to that other person? How come he didn't go back to that person and give them a good chunk of money? Because at that point, he had already bought it for what they determined it was worth. So it's not his responsibility to go pay them.
And at that point, you have to say, is that...
So, if you look at anyone, they sold, to get to the heights that they got to, they were willing to sell somebody else down the river. And you can see that clearly with the way that the businesses are laid out within Captain America and various other things.
Well, and it's not like... I really feel like I have to defend this comic because a lot of people online and in the comic community are saying this is too political. This is issues we're dealing with. This is a real.
This is an
as
issue that
political
happens here
Well,
in
this
this world.
It's as political as Jane Foster Thor dealing with cancer. It's just a fact of life, and you can't get mad at somebody for pointing at it and going, "That's blue."
Well, I know.
I mean,
I know a lot of. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think the main thing that they're complaining about because they wanted to read the old school Captain America. I'm going to fight for justice and this, and I'm going to fight Hydra, who are Nazis.
and
I'm going
when
to
you-
deal with businessmen to do
Because
this.
you can always hate Nazis.
Well,
Thank you.
And when you're a country at war that needs to be united from a literal true evil that could destroy the world, which is what happened in World War II, that's what you need. You need everybody to get to toe the line and everybody to believe there's hope. That's not where we're at right now. And the problem with a lot of people in both parties, in both political positions, is they want you to believe we're at that point. Right now, we're not at that point. And the problem is we're not aimed at the same location. And we won't look at ourselves as a society. And that's why I like this fiction does that.
Okay, Captain America, Steve Rogers, was all about pointing the finger at somebody else. Look at that person. That person has come here to harm us. That's the other. That's
Right.
the outside foreign source that we have to fight, like Hydra, Nazis, and various other things, like Red Skull, like, we're still Hydra.
Yeah.
AIM.
But
AIM, yeah.
But now you look at Sam Wilson, Captain America, and you look at, okay, well, now that it's 2017, who is the enemy that we're all supposed to be looking at? Is it out there? No, it's actually in here. It's in here with us. It's the same people that you go to work with. It's social media. It's the fact that that he went on at one point in the comic book to explain his position to the news outlets. And what did they do? They turned it around immediately on him and made him the villain.
Made him like, communist Captain
And see,
America.
that's the issue. We're divided. So when you look at us, and Sam Wilson talks about us, he's like, he went to that gay pride parade, but at the same time, when he turned around and he could go to that and be accepted there, he couldn't be accepted somewhere else. It was all dependent on a different group. He helps a Latino grandmother find her grandson, and he's villainized for it by a white old man who says that those Mexicans shouldn't be coming here illegally.
Oh yeah,
So-
the sons of the serpent.
Yes,
but before
I mean,
them, it's just a guy on
it's
an
just
airplane.
a random guy. yeah.
Okay.
And so you've got all these different groups fighting each other, and the author, I forget who
Nick
you said-
Spencer.
Nick Spencer points that out at every turn. We're the enemy now. We're tearing each other apart.
And one of the big things that Nick Spencer gets flack for, which I have to argue against because his comic, they want to say that he's liberal or conservative. No, because he points out that both sides are twisting Sam's message to say what they're going to say. And I'm going to, anytime, by the way, that I get close to somebody else's message, I'm going to give them credit. Rob Jefferson from Comics Explained said it, and he said it the best, in that one of the biggest issues in here that I think Nick Spencer is trying to tell us, and something I really hope we learn as a country, is too many people form an opinion and then look for information to support their opinion. Nobody researches something and then forms an opinion anymore. You know, there are too many people that go, that's not my Captain America. So now they're going to look at everything Nick Spencer's wrote in that light to confirm it. And some people do the opposite. Oh, he's a great Captain America. So they're going to ignore any negatives about the character and only find stuff that's positive. And that is not how an informed society, especially the United States of America that says that they stand for what we've always stood for, is supposed to operate. Democracy and freedom, and just freedom of speech in fiction and stuff, it should be about expressing an idea and coming to your own conclusion and not trying to fit things in a blinder. If that makes any sense to anyone.
I mean,
It's
there's
just the kind of stuff this invokes to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's constantly looking at everything through a biased lens. I mean, it's one of those things that, it's like I've told you, when we used to talk to an old acquaintance of ours, she would attempt to make every issue her issue.
Right.
Regardless whether or not it didn't actually affect her at all and it affected other people. And so we would have to constantly tell her, look, I'm sorry, but it's kind of when one of us is being, crapped on, it's the other groups need to come together and help that person.
And not turn it around to something for their end.
And so, and I liked that about Sam Wilson and the fact that he was readily apparent to point that out, that he had these feelings, he had these morals, and he was willing to help anybody that needed help. It didn't matter if they were black, if they were male, if they were female, if they were straight. He was willing to help whoever needed help.
Right.
And he even talked to the grandson, I believe, was actually they were talking about him being illegal, like he was an illegal, and he went to go help him anyway because he needed help.
Well, even all the people that the Sons of Serpent were actually in, they were actually crossing over the border. And then some people say like, well, they shouldn't be here anyway because they're illegal. Why are they crossing over here? But then again, this Captain America doesn't care who you are. If you are a innocent that is in trouble, i.e. the Sons of Serpent, he's going to come help them.
Well, it's one of those things. It is illegal for them to enter that way, and that is wrong. But does that entitle them to be victimized and completely attacked by people with automatic weapons?
Attacked, kidnapped, and sent to be experimented on.
Exactly.
And it really, like, as a student of history, it really hurts me when we have people that look at that and go, well, it's okay that we attack the illegals because they're not American.
Irish need not apply.
Well, did you also get that one of the founding principles of this country was we all have certain unalienable rights? Every human being has a set of unalienable rights. It didn't say every American. It says every human has a set of unalienable rights. That includes those people that are crossing the border.
And like I said, if your argument is that they should be sent back, that's fine. Let the proper authorities, such as S.H.I.E.L.D. in Marvel's case, apprehend them, analyze them, and if they want to get in the proper way, start that channel or send them back. But having them attacked by a completely unrelated group and then sold into human experimentation is wrong. And like you guys said, that is what America is. And Sam Wilson is exemplifying America. And from what I've read ahead and all this stuff, Sam Wilson is still carrying that torch, and he's one of the best things coming out of the all new, all different, and Marvel Now setups. Is this is the way you update a character. This is the right way to update a character. You take a character that's been there forever and you bring him to the modern day.
Should we explain to them how it goes from helping these people who are crossing over the border to Serpent Solutions? Or we want them just to read it so they can
I mean,
because if you don't know that middle in between to figure out how Serpent Solutions is dealing with these with local people being sold to them, they're kind of lost.
Well, to give you a basic line without giving too much, is they are connected to the lab that is experimenting on the people that the group across the border is selling people to. Is the basic connection.
Okay.
And
if you guys want what they're making,
exactly, and that's the whole thing. Is
they just happen to be serpent themed?
Yes, they just happen to be serpent themed.
Well, it's kind of like
both groups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I want to say that group is technically funded by the business group.
I try to look it up.
I think
the Sons of the Serpent are just a hate group, and they just are.
Okay, they're those standard. The Revolution is coming nut bars that we all know.
They're not part of Serpent Society at all.
I also assume it might be like a Tea Party jab because the Tea Party have the Liberty Snake.
That's probably what that's what I mean, because there's always, what do they call it? What is that group called? Not the Tea Party, but they're that expansion off. They're the people waiting for the next American Revolution or whatever. I assumed that's what they were jabbing at.
I have no idea.
Because there's a group who swears there's the next American Revolution.
I'll admit I just kind of lump all Tea Party people in with crazies.
The only thing I can think of is the alt-right, but that's all I know.
Yeah, we're not. No, we're not going to call them that, because that's not what...
Third Reich?
Oh, thank you. Because that is what they are. That's what I saw that meeting, and as a disabled person who knows what the Nazis did to disabled folks, no. I'm on...
Let's just stop right there. Let's not get too... This is comics.
Sorry.
We're not going to get too political.
But I think the point is, and I know we've gotten political here and there, I think to me, as someone who likes to read this sort of thing, that's the good thing about Nick Spencer's writing, both in Steve Rogers and in Captain America, Sam Wilson, because this is the kind of questions it makes you ask. They're comic book villains and they're comic book stuff.
To clarify, you're not talking about the fact that he is political. You're talking about the fact that he provokes political thoughts.
The character is not political. Sam Wilson has opinions, but he is never affiliated with one thing or the other. Matter of fact, one of the things...
And truth be told, the only thing he comes down on the side is, should a secret and yet menacing government agency be allowed to have an ancient alien artifact that allows them to rewrite reality?
And if your answer is yes, you need to get in. You need some help.
And I did like how they even.
And if your answer is they already have one, you might still need some help.
I like how when they actually were just like, oh, he said this. What do you think? It's like, if I was in the exact same position, I would have said the exact same thing, even though I don't take sides. But I would have said the exact same thing.
Well, no.
I support Sam Wilson in this.
Well, like I said,
but I don't take sides.
Like I said, I actually enjoyed Steve's response. Old man Steve's response to that is like,
But
look, I don't want to.
At that point, he's
He's still the good guy.
Well, he's also the equivalent of the gay athlete that just left the NFL.
Yeah.
He's more entitled to his opinions because he's not Captain America anymore.
So he
can
say
totally say, yeah, I don't pick sides, but yeah, I'm picking a side. And people can't look at him and go, oh, well, that's wrong. No, he's the NFL player that just came out as gay after retiring. It's okay for him to have opinions now. But when it mattered, he didn't have one.
Right.
Which is why I kind of respect Sam Wilson more, because it matters and he's got one and he's willing to come out.
He's at a platform to where he can actually make some type of change, and he decided, you know what we're doing right now is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that. You're public opinion. You're gonna influence the voters and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I'm going to for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's something I have to say about all of the Marvel's new initiatives have gotten a lot of flack, and all the good ones that I enjoy. They bring up political points, but here's the thing. I've gotten one unified message. Freedom of speech. These people are allowed to write these comics and make their points because this is America. And there are other people writing counterpoints and comics that aren't based on that. But at the end of the day, something that during Captain America's time, freedom of speech was something we fought, but it wasn't you didn't speak out against certain things. You want to update it, we get a Captain America that says, yes, gay marriage is good. We get a Captain America that says...
Well, it's one of those things that they pointed out amazingly well, and I don't know the writer, because I don't remember names very well, of Civil War. Again, the first one, going back. They make a commentary where Captain America is under arrest because he's given himself up at the end. And the journalist asks him, he goes, I stand for the American people. And she goes, do you even know who the American people are? And he says, well, of course, what kind of question is that? She goes, when's the last time you watched American Idol? How about, Facebook, MySpace? When's the last time you watched a YouTube video? And he's just going, I don't get where these questions are coming from. And she's like, that's right, because you don't represent America. You don't know what common Americans do. You don't know what they're into. You don't know what they have that makes up their daily life. And then you've got Sam Wilson, who literally reaches people on YouTube, who sets up his own website, who puts a call line out there, who has a social media presence, because Sam Wilson is a child of the 2000s. He knows exactly what this generation is like. He knows what we do. He's not from the 1940s, still living in the age where you get your message out by putting posters on buildings. Just saying.
Well, it's the same thing we talked about, I think like our second or third episode was Jane Foster Thor. It's a similar, maybe 4. I don't have it in front of me, but one of our early episodes of Jane Foster Thor, it's the same thing with Thor sees things on a cosmic level. Odinson Thor sees things on a cosmic level. Jane Foster's Thor sees things on a mortal human level. And you see that in a lot of the stuff she interacts with. Odin's son shows up when a main Avengers level problem has happened. There is a sky beam, and we all know sky beams are bad. So he shows up for the sky beam.
The sky hole.
The fucking... Oh my god, the obsession with modern movies and sky beams.
Look,
sky
we
holes.
all know sky beams are evil. We don't have to know what's going on to know sky beam means the end of the world, the sky is falling. But that's the kind of stuff that Odin's son would show up for. Mm-hmm. Jane Foster Thor will show up for corporate corruption and people being attacked.
It almost seems like these newer heroes are becoming...
Mark Miller.
I'm trying to think of a better word for it than what I'm going to say, but they seem like they're more street level. They handle shit that
they're more human.
Yeah, they're more that's more human because they deal with shit that we as a people have to deal with every day. Like, granted, we know when Galactus, when anybody that comes up from space to fuck with us, we got the Avengers that handle us. They don't handle that. But when it comes to dealing with people by themselves and their own crime, I lost my words.
No, your message is still coming clear.
Yeah. So for the main fact that they can't relate to us because Odin, what you said, Odin's from Asgard. He comes here every now and then. And he might stay here and do a few things, but he has no idea what the regular person goes through. Jane Foster does because she was a doctor, correct?
Mm-hmm. Doctor.
Medical doctor. She's been through that type of shit. She knows what's going to happen out there. She knows what happens every single day. Odin doesn't. Tony can't know because Tony lives in that goddamn tower all the time.
Tony was literally born into money. Tony has never... The story arc where Tony was poor, he was too poor to fund the Avengers.
Think about the old Avengers, right? The old team. You had Tony Stark, who's a billionaire, maybe even more wealthier than that. He might be more and he lives in a tower. He's literally secluded from the rest of the peasants. You look at Captain America. His version of America has come and gone. Long time ago. Odin's son, Thor. he doesn't even live or take up permanent residency or get involved in some of our conflicts
He's
because
technically monarchy. He's royalty.
Yeah.
And then you look at even T'Challa. He is royalty and comes from a different country. So I mean, what? And you got Hulk. And what's Hulk gonna? I mean, how's Hulk, a raging rage monster, gonna talk to you?
Bruce Banner is still so caught up, and to his credit, I like the character, but he's caught up with his own issues. He doesn't.
I don't have time to help you.
No, he's too busy dealing with his own individual crap. He doesn't have time to help.
So you look at the original Avengers, and they had nothing relatable about them. There was nothing that we could see in them.
And Hank Pym is just a horrible person.
Oh yeah, he
as
was.
much as I enjoy Hank Pym, he's a horrible person.
Let's hit this last point, and then we're gonna have to wrap up.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about, or at least the last thing I want to bring up, is it's going back to how, you know, being a hero, or in this case being a villain, doesn't really come with any type of benefits. So let's think about Armadillo, and think about Diamondback, the stripper.
The who?
The stripper.
No, the Diamondback wasn't her name. She was.
Her name was Diamondback. She threw diamonds.
It was a snake name. I don't think it was Diamondback though.
Diamondback is a snake.
Yeah,
I know it is
isn't
a
that
snake,
from
but
Luke Cage?
Yes, Diamondback is Luke Cage's villain. What is her name? It's a
And I only know that
name.
because of the Netflix show.
Yeah.
It is a serpent
no.
name, but I can't think of her name.
Yeah,
Princess Python?
No.
There is
not
no, but you know there was the Princess Python. That's a thing. The Circus of Crime. Look it up.
Oh my God.
What?
Hawkeye was from the Circus of Crime. That's a thing.
Okay, make your point. Make your point. Before we get even crazy.
Like with Armadillo, his main thing, like he wanted to clean up and get back to. He said, "I'll stop doing crime as long as you can help me out and become back regular human." But Sam couldn't do it anymore because he lost all his connections, so he went back to villainy. Same thing with the stripper. I think her name is Diamondback. I'm gonna go with Diamondback until I'm corrected.
Right. That's fine.
She was just she was a stripper, but then you find out later on that she was approached by Serpent Solutions because her husband, who was the constrictor, I know he's constrictor.
Yeah,
he got sick, and she had no skills. Literally, she said, like, you really can't put on a resume, I throw diamond shaped scales with accuracy and get a job at any type of corporate place and pay for all these bills. So she literally became a stripper. Then Serpent Solutions came, hey, we can help you.
Well, it's the same
Come
thing.
back to us. It's like, how? Well, the point I'm trying to make is exactly.
Is it considered villainy when you're just trying to put food on the table? Is that what you're going for? Because
sort of like that. It's like, you know, these people are just regular, even though they're villains, even though they're the bad guys, they go through the exact same shit that everyone does. And the fact that they have this outlet of going evil to get money. Same thing with drug dealers. Drug dealers are regular people too. They just found a quick way to make enough money to survive.
And sometimes the only way.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think
in her case, it is her only way.
I feel like the point you just hit
With
on
Armadillo,
is
too.
the big divide between newer comic fans and the legacy fans that are upset about these new people. I believe the legacy fans are upset that the villains and heroes are real people. When you make villains real people, that means their motivations can't just be, "Nyaha, I'm going to twist my mustache and do this."
No, don't get me wrong. You still have them.
They do exist, but they're starting to be less and less. And the same thing goes with heroes. To make heroes human, they have to be a little less smiley, clean teeth. And
you find out that everyone is gray and no one is truly white or black, and that's because we all come from different circumstances. I mean, it's kind of like what you said. There's no way they're going to employ Armadillo to do anything that a normal person wouldn't be employed for.
The only thing he could maybe even try to do is construction, and even that they won't let him there because he looks way different. So when these people have no other choice but to go to villainy, like, you can't say, like, I'm going to be a hero. Like, as we see with Sam Wilson, it don't pay the bills.
Well,
Sam literally he tried to charter a jet to go to Arizona. It's like, bro, we ain't got that. Have you looked at the bank account lately? We can get you on Coach.
Well, it's one of those things. Look at the three people in this room. I think we can all admit, and we don't even have like armadillo-shaped appendages or anything, but we can all admit there have been moments where we have had trouble employment for the way we are. Let's be honest. The three of us in the room, I know for a fact both of you have mentioned times, and I know I've told you both times about where we have issues, and we're not spliced with animal DNA or have a history of doing what supervillains do or superheroes.
Right.
But no, like I said, I agree with the point and what you're trying to bring up, and the fact that there is people that go into villainy because it's a way to survive. It's not necessarily because they want to, and they may not even enjoy it. but it helps them put money in their pockets and food on the table. And really, that's all you can ask of someone who's trying to get by.
It's like that song, No Rest for the Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
I've got bills to pay. I've got mouths to feed.
And money don't grow on
no,
trees.
it doesn't.
I mean, you know, it's like at that point you got to ask yourself, is it...
It is, in fact, Diamondback.
Oh, it is? Okay, my apologies.
Apparently, according to this, there's 5 people that named Diamondback. So.
My apologies. It is Diamondback. That's
and
confusing.
I mean, you got to ask yourself, is it their fault when they tried to go the good route, they tried to be good people, and yet they just didn't get any help?
What was it?
Again, this writer has a very good way of not being political, but getting you to think about politically constant issues.
And I think that's what drives me crazy. Is a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's writing so political. He's writing so political." No, he's actually towing the line as much as he can.
Thought-provoking issues.
But you can't read this and not think, "Well, damn."
Like you can't look at her situation, what she's going through, and like, oh, she's a bad guy. That's just it. Like, it makes you think, and I think that's what some of the old school people want. They want that old feeling of like, this is the bad guy,
Black
this is
and
the
white.
good guy.
Silver Age.
Yep, they want
Silver
the Silver
and
Age.
Golden Age.
Yeah, but at least Golden Age there was still some gray. In the Silver Age, there were good guys and there were
and
bad
they
guys.
want the good guy to be happy and always right and do this. Not say, oh, they have struggles. Oh, even the villains have struggles. Sometimes people have no way out. They don't want to humanize them, because I think the reason why, in my personal opinion, is because people read comics to escape. Or at least to go into a different world. Same thing with reading. Like, you reading a novel. You go there to escape the world you're in right now and go into some fantastical thing and deal with that. But then when you read certain fantasies, you actually read that some people are real, they just happen to have extra powers with them too. That's what this comic is doing now. I think that's what people don't like.
There's a quote from the writer.
I guess for me, the only thing is that I prefer my characters, like, if they're Vicodin tripped all the time, it's very hard for me to get any enjoyment out of the book.
I don't understand that statement.
If they're happy all the time and nonstop, and they're just happy, it's hard for me to see them as another person and then get lost in anything. I need them to be relatable.
You play video games. It's kind of like when you pick the gloriously good option for every one of the choices. If you pay attention when you're playing that game.
Better yet, if you were playing in Skyrim, because we've brought it up and you've been enjoying playing it, if you got something that looked like it literally didn't belong in the game, you got weapons that look plastic and foam, and you got all these other things that didn't look like they meshed with the rest of the game, it would ruin your immersion in the game. That's the same way I feel about people who are supposed to be people that don't act like normal people.
Right.
So when I read these comics, I don't see it ruining my immersion. I see, oh, I can forget my troubles for a minute and see how this hero makes his decision. Because at the end of the day, I trust that the hero, the guy who is the hero, will make the right decision. Even if he has to have somebody else point it out to him. Eventually, he will make the right decision. And eventually, the bad guy, either being black and evil, will just be defeated, or being gray and in the middle will, again, go some step closer to getting help. But I don't like everything to be solved immediately. I don't like 30-minute episodes. I like to have something that actually drags on for a little bit and then has some actual development. So I don't really see the first issue of Captain America, New Captain America, as just, oh, it's a one and done. It's just a one story in his long list of character development.
Well, there's actually a quote, that's what I've been looking up, by Nick Spencer, that he got a lot of flack from when Captain America...
Let's go ahead and end it with this.
Yeah, this will be our last thought, but it's something he got a lot of flack for, and as someone who writes amateurly, I thought was an interesting quote. When Captain America first came out, when Steve Rogers first came out as a Hydra agent, he was quoted as saying that for the people who were saying that stories are supposed to have escapism, and that's why what he's doing is wrong with both characters, he said that is irresponsible and cowardly thinking. And so I want to leave our audience with that thought, because since what we're talking about was so thought-provoking, really examine what you read, listen to, and take in, and see what questions it brings to you, because you never stop learning. And I think on that, the three of us are going to say goodbye from the center of the multiverse, and we'll see you next time.
This is your master of time and space, thanking you for listening to the Cripple Talks Comics podcast. If you have any questions or suggestions for us, go ahead and send us an email at crippletalkscomics@gmail.com. That's crippletalkscomics@gmail.com. For more content, check out www.rebelsaga.com, where we cover conventions, video games, anime, and more. You can listen to this and all other archived podcasts at iTunes, Stitcher, and rebelsaga.com. That's iTunes, Stitcher, and rebelsaga.com.